Look, far be it from me to stand in the way of you two youngsters trying to have a little fun. But I'm not giving you my hauler so you two can go play footsie together. If this is about business and you need it for business, then the chances are there's a profit to be made. And if there's a profit to be made and you want to use my hauler, then I'd suggest you start getting real honest about what you're hauling and how much is gonna be in it for me. So, what's it gonna be, sugar tits? Al said, cocking a sly grin in Emily's direction. Emily growled a bit in frustration before dropping the nice girl routine that usually worked so well for her. Fine. Well, it looks like you're smarter than I gave you credit for. Me and Jax found a drop of some decent quality stuff from the inside of the wall. I mean, there's not going to be too much profit in it. It is just the inner wall's garbage after all. But I'm willing to give you a 15% cut for letting us use the hauler. Al took a long drag of his cigarette after Emily finished, staring at her intently. Well, you're a pretty decent liar, aren't you, little girl? To be honest, anyone else probably would have bought that string of horse crap. But unfortunately, Jax gave you away, he said with a sly grin, as Emily looked back in my direction. And I just looked at her puzzled. Hey, don't look at me, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, I said, raising my hands defensively as Emily's glare was anything but pleasant. Don't get angry at him, Al replied. He didn't give me any signals or any kind of crap like that. I've just learned to read him over the years. And he gave a small indication when you started talking about what you were picking up with the hauler. A look that made me feel like he didn't really believe what you were saying, like he knew otherwise. It was fairly subtle. Most people wouldn't have even noticed it. But once again, I've spent 10 years with that kid. I know this face. I know all the looks on it. And he didn't believe your little story. Which means you're throwing me a line of shit. Last chance, girlie. Tell me what you're hauling, or get the hell out of my shop, Al said, blowing out a thick cloud of smoke. Fine, Emily replied. We're hauling weapons. I wasn't lying about the drop from inside the walls, just about what was being dropped. It's a weapons cache. Guns, and lots of them. All of them completely functional and high grade, and worth a lot of money to the right people. Okay, Al said, leaning forward in his chair a bit, taking another drag of his cigarette. Now we're freaking talking. So, you need the hauler to pick the weaponry up. If there's enough of it that you need a hauler for it, then it's a good amount of it, no question. Meaning that there's gonna be a high price tag. I'm willing to cut a deal with you. Let you use the hauler, pick up the goods, and you can sell them at whatever price you think is fair, of course. But I want a 50% cut, half of whatever you make, Al said, putting his cigarette out firmly. Don't even joke, old man, Emily replied. If you think you're getting a 50% cut, you're out of your mind. You're not doing any of the work. You're not selling the merchandise. You're not even picking the merchandise up. You just happen to have a transportation, something that we can carry the inventory with. There's no way in hell that's worth a 50% cut, old man. Don't screw with me. I can get a hauler from somewhere else, and at a much better price. We only came to you because, well, we want someone who's less likely to stab us in the back. And I thought, since you worked with Jax for 10 years, that you might offer him a fair deal. He is part of this, after all. But apparently you're just a greedy old man, whose eyes are too big for his stomach. Don't insult me. 50% is asinine. I'll give you a 20% cut. And that's being exceptionally generous, Emily said, placing her hands on the table and looking down sternly at Al. A very intense glare being exchanged between the two. No way in hell 20%'s cutting it. Fine. 40%. Stop screwing with me, old man. 40% is highway robbery. I could easily get a transport for a 15% cut. There's just a high risk of, well, double crosses. So in exchange for the safety of going through you, I'll up it to a 25% cut. I'll go to 30, but that's only if you're willing to actually put some work into it. Help me arrange the deals, sell off the merchandise. That means no sitting on your ass collecting a check. That is, if you want a 30% cut. Al gave a fairly disgruntled expression, standing up from his chair, putting his hands on the table and glaring back across at Emily. You're pushing it, girlie. Without me, you can't transport this crap. Hell, I'm the one with a transport. Why don't I just go get it myself? Cut you out of the deal, so to speak, Al said with a slight smile beginning to peek on the right side of his face. Nice try, old man. But you can't cut me out. I'm the one who knows where the shipment was dropped. The red zone is massive. Even if you started trying to look for the cache, you'd never find it. And even if you managed to find out where it was, by the time you did, somebody else would have zeroed in on its location and taken it all. There's not enough time before somebody else finds it for you to try to go looking. I'm the only one who knows where it is, so without me, your transport is useless. Unless you can check countless hundreds of miles of barren dunes of steel and scrap to find the one pile that's worth something, which I don't think you can pull off. If you want a cut from the drop, then you need me. Your need exceeds mine in terms of who needs what. 30%, old man. Take it or leave it. Al just stood there, staring at her for a few moments. Silence filling the room. You could cut the tension in here with a knife. Pardon the cliche saying. But then suddenly, Al got a grin on his face and stood up tall. He laughed vigorously. I tell you what, Jax. I like your girlfriend. She's got business sense. To be honest, I wasn't expecting much when she tried to play the sweet girl act on me. I didn't think she was that smart. But she knows the game. And she's a good dealer. I'd say you could pick 'em worse for a girlfriend, Al said, still with that big cheesy grin on his face. She's not my girlfriend, I replied. She's just a friend, okay? Trust me, kid, she's your girlfriend. You're just too stupid to realize that she's your girlfriend. Hell, I'm not sure if she realizes that you're her boyfriend. But trust me, that's what it is. You're just young and stupid right now. Haven't sussed it out. There's only a certain few reasons that men and women tend to hang around each other as much as you two do. So you two have some unrequited things to go through. But trust me, you're a couple. Hey, don't decide who I'm with, old man, Emily said angrily. I didn't decide anything. You did. You'll figure it out one of these days. But for now, I'll go fetch the keys to the hauler. You got a deal, girlie. 30%. And I'll start contacting some people. Find some safe deals to make. I want to be there for the negotiation, though. I doubt you're gonna get hustled. But just in case, I might as well throw my 2 cents into it. And just like that, we had the hauler we needed. At a 30% cost.